Just days ago, a powerful 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck Myanmar and Thailand, toppling buildings and rattling millions. But what causes these terrifying tremors? Let's break it down. Deep beneath our feet, Earth's crust is made of massive tectonic plates that slowly shift. When these plates grind past each other, they get stuck, building up massive stress over time. Eventually, the pressure becomes too much. The plates jolt loose, releasing energy in waves. That's an earthquake. These seismic waves ripple outward, shaking the ground we stand on. The spot directly above the slip? That's the epicenter, where shaking hits hardest. The recent Myanmar quake's epicenter was located 16 kilometers or 10 miles northwest of the town of Sagaing. Stay safe during quakes, drop cover and hold on.
How do they build underwater tunnels? Like, how does the water not flow in? The Channel Tunnel is one of the longest undersea tunnels, and workers actually started digging here, 45 meters under the seafloor. They built giant waterproof tunnel digging machines weighing over 1,000 tons. And as they dug, they reinforced the walls with steel and concrete to withstand these insane pressures and keep the water from seeping in. The craziest part to me, though, is that the British and French were digging from opposite sides, so they had to line up perfectly. They even looked at fossils to make sure that they were at the right depths, and after 6 years, they finally met in the middle. That is the crater from the giant space rock that killed the dinosaurs. Yes, it hit right here, the real impact site of a rock the size of Mount Everest from 66 million years ago. And for a long time, we didn't even know it was there. Back in the 80s, a couple of scientists thought that a meteor might have been what kills the dinosaurs because of this layer of rock right here, separating dinosaur fossils and mammal fossils. This layer of rock had a surprisingly high amount of an element that is mostly found in meteors and comets. The real impact site doesn't look like this from space. It's covered up by all kinds of other rock and sediment. We had to search for it, but they managed to uncover evidence that it was the right size and age and contained the right minerals to confirm that it must have been the site of an impact that we now know was a very bad day for dinosaurs, but a very good day for us mammals. This is the place alien life is most likely to be in our solar system, and NASA just launched a mission to go look for it. This is Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, and the reason scientists think that it might have life is that beneath its icy surface, evidence suggests there's a huge saltwater ocean with about twice as much water as all of Earth's oceans combined. And beneath that, there might be hydrothermal vents, which here on Earth are a hardcore underwater home for life. NASA's Europa Clipper is going to fly by that moon over and over and over again, including maybe through plumes of this water, collecting data on the atmosphere and the ocean and what might be down there. And if we do find something, what next? NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams were supposed to be in space for just 8 days, but they got stuck for 9 months. What went wrong? In June 2024, they launched aboard Boeing's Starliner to the ISS. But once there, technical failures with the spacecraft's propulsion system made it unsafe to return. While NASA worked on a fix, the astronauts adapted, conducting experiments, maintaining the station, and even doing live STEM lessons. After months of problem solving, NASA finally sent a SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule to bring them home. On March 18, 2025, they safely landed off the coast of Florida. Could you handle 9 unexpected months in space? These are the photos that NASA chose to send to aliens. They're riding on the first spacecrafts to leave our solar system, Voyager 1 and 2, which are now way out into interstellar space, carrying these golden records with these images on them. They show our home and where in the universe we're located. They show how we do math and how we define things like time and distance. They show what humans are, from the makeup of our DNA to how we reproduce and grow and age to how we eat and drink. They show what we do. They show where we live and what we've built and discovered. It's a message about us, hurtling 17 kilometers per second through space between stars so that maybe one day someone might find it. What would happen if you dug a hole straight through the Earth and then jumped in? Would you get stuck in the middle? Would you bounce back and forth forever? Would you go accelerating out the other side? So what happens is you jump in and you start accelerating down toward the center due to the force of gravity from all of the Earth beneath you. You're falling faster and faster and faster, but as you get toward the center, there's less mass pulling you down. So when you reach the center after about 21 minutes, the Earth is going to be pulling you equally in all directions. Now, if you teleported in there, you'd be stuck forever. But lucky for you, in this scenario, you're traveling over 11 kilometers per second now, or 25,000 miles an hour. So you're just going straight on through, and you'd slow down as you reach the other side, finally coming to a stop. Unless someone catches you there, you're going right on back. So you're bouncing back and forth basically forever. In real life, the deepest anyone has ever dug is a third of the way through the crust in the 1970s.
This is the largest and most powerful rocket ever built. For comparison, one of the first and smallest rockets to carry humans was Project Mercury's, with a height of around 25 meters. Within a space shuttle, which debuted in 1981, is here. It took humans and satellites into orbit. A step up now is SpaceX's Falcon Heavy. It's only been used for cargo, but it can lift the equivalent of a fully loaded 737 airplane. And this is NASA's newest rocket, which is planning to take humans back into lunar orbit for the first time in 50 years. One of the biggest is the Saturn V rocket. It was used for the Apollo missions, including our last trip to the moon in 1972. And finally, this is Starship, the largest and the most powerful rocket humans have ever built.
You've probably seen the size comparisons between Earth and the largest star in the universe. But have you ever seen the size comparison between the largest known star in the universe and the largest theoretical black hole ever discovered? This is Stephenson 218. It is a red hypergiant, almost 20,000 light-years away. It's nearly 3 billion kilometers in diameter. That's the size of over 235,000 Earths stacked end to end, and the star is big enough to fit 13 quadrillion Earths inside of it. The sheer size of just the star alone is really hard to wrap your mind around, but absolutely nothing compared to the theoretical largest black hole ever discovered, Phoenix A. More research needs to be gathered on the exact size of this black hole, but its diameter is thought to range somewhere 590 and 672 billion kilometers in diameter, and that's just the size of the black hole itself. That's not even counting the accretion disk. So be honest, how small do you feel right now?
One of the largest star ever discovered has a radius 1,700 times our sun. If you put it in our solar system, it would reach past Jupiter's orbit. On the other end of the spectrum, one of the smallest stars ever discovered is only about the size of Saturn, just barely big enough to be a star. About twice as big as our sun is this bluish-white star Sirius. Its bluish-white color means that its surface is 2 to 5 times hotter than our sun. A big step up is Arcturus. This red giant is 25 times as large as our sun. Its expanded size and deep red color tells us that it's much older and about 2,000 degrees cooler than ours. Next is the supergiant that we started with, and speculated to be even larger is this red hypergiant, Stephenson 218. We think is over 2,000 times the size of our sun and growing. As a star dies, it begins to bloat due to the change in chemistry inside it, so this star is dying.
This is a drawing of a normal modern animal that you'd recognize, except they drew it in a way that many early science illustrators drew dinosaurs, with the skin just wrapped around the bone without muscle, turning this normal animal into a monster. Can you guess what it is? That's a zebra. Okay, what about this one? That's a baboon. This one's my favorite. Can you guess this one? That's a hippo. This practice is called shrink wrapping, and it caused a lot of really big misunderstandings about what dinosaurs actually looked like. They were way chunkier than people think. Artists and scientists are correcting that now. They're adding more loose skin and muscles and fatty tissues that's showing dinosaurs like the animals they really were.
The Milky Way has 100 billion stars. Statistically, aliens should be everywhere. So, why is the universe silent? This is the Fermi paradox. With so many Earth-like planets, why no signals? No probes, no aliens? One terrifying answer: the Great Filter. Maybe advanced life always self-destructs. Nuclear war, climate collapse, AI gone rogue, or worse, what if we're alone, the only ones who made it? Others think aliens avoid us, or we're in a cosmic zoo, or they're already here. The truth? We don't know, but the silence is deafening. Comment your theory. Do you think we are alone? NASA sent a spacecraft 200 million miles away to land on an asteroid, steal a sample, then bring it all the way back here so that we can analyze it. And the first results of that analysis are now in. They found specific ingredients for life on Earth and minerals made from salt water. This is a huge deal because it supports the theory that asteroids might have seeded life on Earth, which does not mean that our ancestors rode in on an asteroid, but it does mean that asteroids might have brought raw ingredients to Earth, baked in some primordial stew on some other space rock to help make you. And that implies that there might be way more life like you out there than we ever thought. Every galaxy hides a monster. A supermassive black hole, 4 million suns crushed into a tiny dot. But how did it get there? Some formed just after the Big Bang. Gas clouds collapsed directly into black holes weighing millions of suns. Others grew by devouring stars and merging. When galaxies collide, their black holes merge. The 2015 LIGO experiment proved this, rippling space-time with gravitational waves. In their youth, they're quasars, brightest objects in the cosmos. Their jets blast energy for millions of light years, shaping entire galaxies. Too close? Gravity stretches you into a noodle, but most stars orbit safely, slingshotting at 15% light speed. The Milky Way's black hole, Sagittarius A, is 27,000 light years away, for now. James Webb Space Telescope found black holes in baby galaxies. How? They grew too fast, faster than physics allows. A cosmic mystery. We still don't know what's inside, but one thing's certain: these monsters built the universe and might destroy it. If you dove into the sun, the first layer you'd hit is hot enough to make diamonds boil. If you're magically protected, you get through it in just about 400 kilometers. Then you'd be in a boiling ocean of plasma where ionized gas rises and cools and sinks like a giant churning pot that gets up to 2 million degrees. If you kept going, you'd hit a zone so dense that light particles, photons, get trapped bouncing around randomly like a ping pong machine that takes 170,000 years for light to escape. Then, finally, you've reached the core, the place where hydrogen atoms smash together to create helium, nuclear fusion. The result? 15 million degrees Celsius, energy that powers the sun and life on Earth.
Imagine we just start drilling through the Earth's crust. We're passing through soil and layers of hard rock and past precious minerals and fossils. And as we go deeper, we're seeing all kinds of impressively deep things that people have built. Like there are the Chemioka and Sanford research labs that do dark matter and neutrino physics research. There's China's insanely deep nuclear command bunker. There's the deepest cave we've ever discovered, and some of the deepest mines in the world. Rock walls in the deepest mine reach around 60 degrees Celsius. Once we reach 12.2 kilometers, we've hit the deepest hole dumped by the USSR in the 1970s. No human has ever been down here, but it's the deepest we've been able to drill. One of the scientists who worked on this deep hole mentioned that the Russians tried several times to go beyond the maximum depth they had reached. But each time, the new hole would collapse. It was a moonshot, never to be repeated or surpassed. But this hole is just 0.2% of the way to the center of the Earth.
If you were getting sucked into a black hole, first you'd be smashing into burning hot gas and dust as you orbit inside the accretion disk. As you get closer to the center, you'd notice the universe looks like it's speeding up because the black hole is so massive it's warping space and time around you. Going deeper, you'd reach a point where if you look to your left or right, you might see the back of your own head because gravity is so strong that light is getting bent completely around the black hole. You're now approaching the event horizon, where the gravitational pull is so strong even light can't escape. As you pass beyond it, in a supermassive black hole, your body is getting squished and stretched. The gravity is increasing so quickly that your feet are getting pulled away from your head in a process called spaghettification. But since no light can escape the event horizon, the last we'd see of you is a slowly fading image of what you looked like right before you crossed it.
What do astronauts in space eat? Turns out sometimes pizza and chocolate cake. Most of the food on the International Space Station is either heat processed and ready to eat or freeze-dried and just needs water. The lack of gravity means that assembling food is a little bit harder, but it also means that there are some foods they just can't bring, like any crumbs that could get into the equipment and damage it. So salt and pepper come in liquid form, and to avoid breadcrumbs, they eat a lot of tortillas. Zero gravity also makes food behave weirdly. But my favorite part is seeing the astronauts' personalized food.
This is very special food to me because that's food that recipe that my wife prepared for me.
But as more people go into space and for longer, we'll need to figure out how to grow food better with limited resources.
NASA and researchers may have just discovered that another one of Jupiter's moons may have a liquid ocean that covers the entire moon. Callisto, Jupiter's outermost and second largest Galilean moon, was originally thought to be geologically unremarkable. In the 1990s, the NASA Galileo spacecraft found magnetic signatures that suggest its surface was icy and may contain a salty liquid ocean beneath its surface. But those original tests for the liquid ocean's existence were inconclusive until now. Researchers have revisited the findings from that over 30-year-old mission and have determined that the likelihood of a salty liquid ocean existing on Callisto is very high. And this ocean could be enormous, much larger than our own here on Earth. Scientists are estimating that the ocean could be upwards of 10 kilometers deep. And keep in mind that the deepest point in our own ocean is the Mariana Trench at 11 kilometers deep, and that's just one point of the ocean floor. Most of Callisto's sea floor could be nearly as deep as the Mariana Trench, and that is a lot of water. Currently, the NASA Europa Clipper mission and the ESA JUICE mission are on their way to Jupiter and will both take measurements of Callisto as it passes by, and the hope is that we gain more conclusive evidence of the existence of this alien liquid ocean in the coming years.
Here are the top 5 farthest things humans have ever sent into space. Number 5 is 8.7 billion kilometers away. It's called New Horizons. It was launched in 2006 to explore Pluto and the Kuiper Belt, and it's still working. Number 4 is 16 billion kilometers away. It's called Pioneer 11. It was launched in 1973, and it was the first spacecraft to visit Saturn. But now it's too far away, signal can't reach us anymore. Number 3 is 20 billion kilometers away. Pioneer 10. It was the first spacecraft to reach Jupiter. Number 2 just overtook Pioneer 10 this year. It's called Voyager 2. And in first place is Voyager 1. It was the first human-made thing to leave the solar system, and it's now over 24 billion kilometers away. That's 4 times as far as the sun is from Pluto. But even that far away is only 0.06% of the way to the next nearest star. The universe is so big, and we are so small. We are apes on a rock sending little probes out into the universe, and it's incredible that we can do that.
If you dug a hole straight into the moon, the first thing you'd hit are lava tubes, tunnels created by lava flowing from the center to the crust as the moon was forming and cooling. If you're on the near side of the moon, you'd reach the end of the crust around 70 kilometers. But if you're on the far side, the thickness is double. Going deeper, you'll pass through the moon's mantle, the last 10% of which is partly molten and slowly flows. Dig even deeper and you'll find yourself in a liquid iron shell. This moving metal generates a very tiny magnetic field, thousands of times weaker than the one on Earth. And if you keep going, you'll hit the solid, iron-rich inner core of the moon. SpaceX doesn't just land rockets, it catches them mid-air. Here's the science. After re-entry, the booster uses grid fins to steer through the atmosphere, but precision is key. It's moving at 500 miles per hour. Cold gas thrusters and quick engine burns tweak its angle, guiding it toward the launch tower's giant arms. At the last second, the booster slows to a hover. The tower's chopstick arms snap shut, grabbing it like a reverse skydiver catch. Why? No landing legs equals lighter rockets, faster reuse, and cheaper launches. Genius, right? Next up, Mars.
In 2021, NASA's Perseverance rover crash-landed on Mars. Let's unpack its wild journey. One of its primary goals is to identify ancient Martian environments that could have supported life, searching for evidence of past microbial life, and collecting rock and soil samples for potential return to Earth. The samples collected by Perseverance are planned to be returned to Earth for detailed study in the future, requiring a series of missions involving NASA and the European Space Agency. Built to last 687 days, but it's been rolling for over 1,000. Mars still can't kill this robot. Perseverance is paving the way for human boots on Mars. Follow for updates, because humans on Mars, it's not sci-fi anymore.
Using the power of machine learning, SETI researchers have discovered 8 new possible alien radio signals, hidden inside an old data set of radio observations. These signals came from 5 different stars, all within 90 light-years of Earth. All of them were narrowband signals, which are rarely produced by natural sources. One of them came from a G-type star, just like our own sun. Another one mysteriously stopped and reappeared 3 days later. It remains to be seen what these signals truly entail, but this new machine learning approach could radically accelerate the search for alien intelligence, seeing what humans cannot. This breakthrough suggests that the question of are we alone may not be answered by us humans, but by our machines.
It's commonly thought that the universe is infinite. But have you ever thought about what that shape of an infinite universe actually looks like? The universe itself is nearly 13.8 billion years old, and as far as we can tell, it's 93 billion light-years across. This bubble of sorts is what we call the observable universe. But what's past that? Well, the short answer is, we have no idea,
But what's likely there is simply more universe. And the possibility of it going on infinitely forever may not mean what you think. According to Einstein, the fabric of space is considered to be a plane, but not a completely flat plane. It's curved ever so slightly. And if space-time is curved, if it goes on far enough, it could possibly, and eventually, circle back around on itself. So the infinite universe may not be infinite in all directions at all. It could just be an infinite loop.
This planet's weather forecast? Diamond storm. Deep inside Neptune and Uranus, crushing pressure turns methane into diamonds. Scientists say these ice giants could hold millions of tons of bling. Here's how it works. Methane gas gets crushed by 500,000 times Earth's pressure. Carbon atoms break free. Boom! They crystallize into diamonds and rain into the core. These aren't tiny gems. Some could be the size of a car. Good luck mining them, unless you survive 5,000 degrees Celsius temps and supersonic winds. In 2022, scientists recreated this on Earth. They shot lasers at plastic, yes, plastic, to mimic Neptune's pressure, and made nanodiamonds. But wait, there's a twist. Some think these diamonds melt into a diamond ocean near the planet's core. The universe is wilder than fiction. Smash like if you'd brave a diamond storm. Did you know? 71% of Earth is ocean, yet we've mapped less of it than Mars. Dive into its wildest secrets. The Mariana Trench is deeper than Everest. Drop Everest in, and its peak would still be 7,000 feet underwater. Meet the immortal jellyfish. When hurt or old, it turns back into a baby. Scientists use it to crack aging secrets. The ocean has underwater lakes. Super salty brine pools create deadly rivers. 90% of deep-sea creatures glow. Fireflies, squid light up Japan. Anglerfish hunt with lures. It's an underwater rave, with predators. The largest waterfall is underwater. Denmark Straits Cascade drops 11,500 feet, 3 times Angel Falls, moving 5 million gallons per second. Should we explore the Titanic next? This burger was never part of a cow. Lab-grown meat starts with a single cell, harmlessly extracted from a cow, fed sugar and vitamins, and grown into real meat inside a bioreactor. Why? It uses 90% less land and water, requires no slaughterhouses, and tastes identical to beef. Already happening. Singapore sells lab-grown chicken, and startup Upside Foods just crafted a $50 million steak. Here's the kicker. Cows burp methane, a climate nightmare. Lab meat slashes emissions by 87%, and yes, it's FDA approved. Imagine biting into a lion burger, or meat grown in space. Would you eat it? The future of food is here. Like this video if you'd try lab-grown bacon. Comment burger if you'd eat one. And subscribe for tomorrow's question. What if all meat was lab-grown? Did you know that Cleopatra was closer to TikTok than the pyramids? Let me explain why history's timeline is broken. The pyramids were built 2,500 years before Cleopatra. But the moon landing was only 2,000 years after her. To Cleopatra, the pyramids were older than she is to us. Let that melt your brain. If she time-traveled to 1969, she'd skip Shakespeare, the Renaissance, and still be 2,000 years late for the pyramids.
Football isn't just a game, it's a time machine. 2,000 years ago, China invented Cuju, kicking a feather-stuffed ball through a hole. But medieval Europe, they said, let's make it 100 versus 100 in the streets. No rules, just pure madness. The first rules in 1863. The Football Association banned rugby tackles, and boom, the beautiful game was born. Thank them every time you see a messy dribble. UEFA kicked off in 1954, and now it's the UCL, the ultimate war zone. Like Liverpool versus PSG today, who do you think is the best team? Saudi legend Nawaf Al-Abed scored in 2 seconds, faster than Messi tying his boots. Smash like for more contents like this. Comment your favorite team and subscribe for more football madness.